How much more insanely boring is making a cup of tea compared to making a cup of coffee? Very much so. But it is currently 11:03 in the morning. I've already had my first cup of coffee and I'm not gonna have my second one yet. And 2 is the most I can have a day at the moment, because as soon as you start to have 3 coffees a day, it's a slippery slope to heroin. Winston Churchill. What is going on, team? Welcome back to another video. We are obviously not in the gym because this would be a weird setup for a gymnasium. And being the keen pseudo-intellectual bunch that you are, I'm happy to say that today's video shall be about 3 books within the fitness space that have done wonders to either entertain, educate, or empower myself. I feel very blessed to exist in the age of the internet, not only because I have a YouTube channel and work online, but also because it means that information is just so flippin' easily accessible. I'm 35 now, and back when I was late teens, early 20s, if there's something that I wanted to learn about in regards to, you know, fitness, health, performance, physique, whatever, I'd be going to T Nation to read an article, or look at Joe DeFranco's new program, or look at what Westside Barbell, the powerlifting gym, were up to see if there's anything that I could extract from that powerlifting world to apply to my own kind of athletic goals. It would be either kind of like garage training videos that would be weirdly hard to find, or articles on different websites and forums. So it's a very different world, even obviously when the internet existed back then. But now in the world of YouTube and in the world of Instagram and different social media, we are being able to be exposed to information that is very helpful, is extremely easy. But that being said, there is something that is still, I don't know, nostalgically enjoyable, reminiscently pleasant. I prefer that one. I prefer reminiscently pleasant. Let's go with that. There is something that is reminiscently pleasant about a book. And again, they do serve different purposes. Some are there to entertain, some are there to educate, some are there to empower. So today I'm going to share 3 books within the fitness space that were the first ones to pop into my mind when I decided that I was going to do this video last week. So let's get cracking, shall we? Okay, so the first one, as we have here, and let's hope the book falls from the ceiling in 3, 2, 1... As if by magic, The World's Fittest Book by Ross Edgley. If you have not yet read this book, do not worry about it. If you have not even heard of this book, I probably will judge you. And if you've never even heard of Ross Edgley, please leave immediately. So Ross Edgley is a self-professed adventure athlete. I very much like that term, or strongman swimmer, he's called himself. So he is the guy, if you do not actually know who he is, that swim around the British Isles maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, I'm not sure when it was. So he would basically swim a length of the ocean. The support boat that he was effectively sleeping on at night would anchor into its position. He would get out, eat a phenomenal amount of food, sleep and recover, get back in the ocean in exactly the same position, and then continue going. It took him about 250 days. I'm butchering this, that wasn't the exact amount. The guy, as you can see from his absurd physique on the cover, is an absolute weapon. I've never met him, but in every interview I've seen him in, he comes across as extremely authentic, an extremely nice guy, very cerebral about it. He's got a degree in sports and exercise science, very stoic, very introspective, and seems to, in the macro, enjoy a life that is dedicated towards pursuing a greater understanding of all things performance, health, and physique. So very much like myself, just more handsome, muscular, and successful. So the kind of things that this book covers, it's not very sciencey, which I'm a big fan of. If you're not qualified in any way, if you've never done a PT, in fact, to be honest, even if you have done a PT course, because reps level 3 PT courses in the UK aren't particularly informative in my opinion. But he's got a little bit of an intro to him and his journey. He's got a part on the 5 laws of fitness, kind of the body basics, a little bit on progressive overload, a little bit on specificity, recovery, how to lose fat, how to get big and strong, how to increase speed and power, how to improve endurance. And all of these different sections aren't shrouded in science and jargon. They're basically taught, these messages and these principles are taught through the use of a different story from his life and his training and somewhere that he went. So from memory, there's a time that he went to stay with an African tribe, and he delves into a few different stories of him and that time with those people to explain a human's propensity to develop endurance, as an example. If you have been in the industry for a while, and if you have a degree or master's degree in strength and conditioning, you're probably not going to learn an awful lot, but this is such an unbelievably easy read. He communicates it so well, so humbly, and using the communication tool of stories of his life, there are some genuine golden nuggets of information there. For something that is entertaining and incredibly wholesome, Ross Edgley, The World's Fittest Book. He's done a few since this, and this was written and published, I believe, a good couple of years before he did his C-swim. His openness to generally trying new things from a very authentic and wholesome and humble place are one of the reasons why I believe that he is just such a likable character in the fitness industry. because his performance ability is insane. He looks like he's chiseled out of bloody marble, yet he consistently comes across as just a very flippin' nice bloke. Ross Edgley's World's Fittest Book. If it's not on your bookshelf yet, get it. If you don't have a bookshelf, go to IKEA and start from there. Tea. What a great buzz, said no one ever. And book number 2 in 3, 2, 1. Boundless by Ben Greenfield. This book is not very entertaining, but it is incredibly educational and informative. For anyone interested in the deeper nuances of not necessarily training, but a little bit of nutrition, biohacking, health and longevity. If you do not know who Ben Greenfield is, please go follow him. He is an unbelievably intelligent guy. His formal training is in exercise physiology, and the tagline for this: upgrade your brain, optimize your body, and defy aging. And he is, I don't even know how the hell I heard about this guy, but he like, if you are anything like me and you enjoy kind of nerding out, learning about new kind of physiological processes and informational sound bites that you can kind of regurgitate to other people so they might not think you're as dumb as you are. This is basically, as you can see, a flippin' encyclopedia of these. So you've got how to rewire your brain, coffee, booze, and horror films. Interesting. Not saying that those are the 3 things that help rewire it in a good way. Obviously, you need to read the chapters. How to fix a leaky brain, how to banish stress and kiss high cortisol goodbye, how to fuel your brain. So basically, there's an entire brain section. How to test, track, and interpret blood, saliva, urine, and poop. Page 389. You're welcome. How to fix your gut, optimize digestion, and maximize nutrient absorption. How to build functional muscle for life. How to burn fat fast without destroying your body. How to fix jet lag, nap like a champion, and track sleep cycles. Nootropics, smart drugs, and psychedelics. Tantra, orgasms, libido, sexual satisfaction, hormones, and beyond. There's, ancestral wisdom and modern science to maximize health and lifespan. Longevity decoded. This isn't something that you would read and attempt to kind of learn off by heart. This isn't something that you would probably even need to just go through chapter by chapter and have a nice easy read before bed. But each kind of chapter and section is going to be fairly standalone, in that if you have access to this bloody behemoth tome on your bookshelf and you are right now interested in hacking your sleep, then you can open it up, have a look, and then use it as a resource manual for information that's relevant to any specific field or topic that you are currently trying to look a little bit more into. Ben Greenfield is 100% the real deal. There is no fibre of his being that is charlatan, imposter, or anything like that. He is a diligent researcher. He definitely walks the walk as well. He tries a hell of a lot of new stuff himself. Learn about sleep, learn about coffee, learn about him ordering LSD and then microdosing it in vodka that he ordered from the dark web. No, the LSD is what he ordered from the dark web. The vodka he bought from a store. Don't be so stupid. I find all of these subjects so unbelievably flipping interesting. And again, a lot of them very, very similar to Ross Edgley's approach. It's not just boring science just thrown at you in an informational way. There is more of that in here because that is necessary and relevant. But a lot of the details and a lot of the lessons and messages as such are kind of shrouded in the blanket of a story. And he walks you through the story and you learn that way. This thing costs about 60 quid or $100 or whatever the bloody hell it is. I can't even remember now. But definitely worth it because the information in here is just absolutely golden. Anything to do with health, biohacking, and longevity is going to be covered in this book. Boundless by Ben Greenfield. Get it on your bookshelf if you do not currently have a bookshelf. As mentioned, go to IKEA, but probably also go to a hardware shop and reinforce it because this thing weighs about 46 kilos. So I've had something that is primarily, I say primarily because they all entertain, they all educate, and they all empower. But primarily the World's Fittest Book by Ross Edgley, I would say, is entertaining. Primarily, I would say Boundless by Ben Greenfield is educational. So it makes sense that the third book, I would say, primarily is empowering. And it's going to appear in my hands in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it turns out it's still in storage. But luckily, I've got my laptop here, so I'll walk you through a little bit about what it is. So this is a little bit left field when it comes to from the fitness space. But in terms of something that motivates me and empowers me to train insanely hard and really does kind of rewire my association with my own capability. There exists this man, if you can call him a man, because that would suggest that he's human, called Ranulph Fiennes. If you are in the fitness space, and to be fair, if you're under 25 and you don't know who Ranulph Fiennes is, I get it. But basically, he's just this bloke that used to be in the military, that was passed SAS selection twice, which I'll go over in a minute. And he is referred to as many as the world's greatest living explorer. So I've got my laptop. Let's take a little deep dive. So Ranulph, Twislerton Wycombe Fines, 3rd Baronet OBE. From that name and title, you can probably gather that he ain't fucking poor, is he? But regardless of his potentially opulent beginnings, rest assured he did not grow up to be an entitled, lazy little boy. He's a British explorer, he's a writer. And this is from memory, and I'm probably going to get this wrong. So he was an officer in the British Army. He then became an officer in the SAS because he's, you know, hard AF. And then he ended up basically getting kicked out of the SAS for blowing up a bridge, basically for stealing explosive from the SAS stores and blowing up a bridge. And I think it had something to do with the fact that there was like a beautiful part of the landscape near him and a film set was going to come and ruin it or something. So he blew up a bridge so the film set couldn't get there or something like that. That might be completely wrong. This is a YouTube channel focusing on performance, health and physique. This ain't fucking Panorama. If I got some of the details a little bit skew-if, forgive me. So basically he left, he did a couple of other things and he ended up wanting to join the SAS again, but something, I think the SAS reserves, but he had to go through the whole of selection again, which is just insane. So one of the things it's saying here, he undertook numerous expeditions and was the first person to visit both the North Pole and South Pole by surface means, and the first to completely cross Antarctica on foot. This is what's mental. So he's done a couple of just absolutely insane things. One of them is in May 2009, at the age of 65, he summited Everest. Not base camp, summit. At 65 years old. Of his highlights and of his kind of list of accolades, that is one of my top 3 in no particular order. The second one is he climbed the north face of the Eiger, one of the hardest climbing walls on the planet. He is not a lifelong rock climber, he just, because it's Ranulph Fiennes, just decided to do it one day. And the third of my top 3, this is probably the most insane thing total. He was the first guy, I believe he was the first man ever to completely circumnavigate the globe, either on foot or on water, so no air travel at all. So that is basically start point and finish point being the same, and he basically went all the way around the world. And that might have been tied into his Arctic and Antarctic expeditions, which he's done a fair few times. Some of them with a bit of help with like parasails and stuff. Some of them completely self-sufficient. He's just dragging his sled along the whole time. He's just bananas. I think one of the things that he's most famous for is he got frostbite, obviously, in one of his fingers, and he said it was really, really painful. It's either he didn't want to wait or he couldn't be bothered to wait or whatever, or it was too painful to wait for surgery. So he basically went into his shed, and this is, again, from my memory, so I'm probably bastardizing this. So he basically went into his shed and just cut it off. So his autobiography is called Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know. And just like things about him like climbing up the clock tower when he was at Eton, which for those of you who don't know is like the poshest private school in the UK where, you know, half of our prime ministers were educated, etc. Just the number of anecdotes and accolades that guy has built up. There is no doubt that there is something about Sir Ranulph Fiennes that is a little bit unhinged, and I wouldn't want to trade places with him. I wouldn't necessarily want to be in his head. I'm not sure how much of a happy guy he is. I'm not sure if he allows himself to put his feet up on a Sunday afternoon. I have no idea, but there are no two ways about it. If this guy was 20 now, he would be significantly more famous and revered than people like David Goggins for his list of achievements. Absolutely, categorically, without a fucking shadow of a doubt. So, World's Fittest Book by Ross Edgley, Boundless by Ben Greenfield, and Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know by Sir Ranulph Fiennes. 3 books in the fitness space, 2 of them more so than the other, that I like to revisit to just keep me entertained, empowered and educated. And again, there is something nostalgic about having something physical in your hands and reading through it. Obviously, you could be reading it on Kindle and the pictures would still be there, or looking at it on your laptop, but there's just something about a physical book that it is a product there. And I don't read books very often now, to be completely honest, but intermittently through the year there's something reminiscently pleasant about revisiting that. But I'd be very interested to hear your favourite books in the fitness space, and anything or anyone that educates, empowers and entertains you. So please do put them down in the comment section below. Let's wrap up the video there, team. Have an amazing day. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome. Please subscribe, of course, and I will see you all in the next video.